Teaser: the crystal wine glass stops halfway to Mrs. Choi's lips when her son's voice cuts through the private dining room like a blade. If she's unworthy, mother, then I suppose you'll need to find a new heir. The silence that follows is absolute. 3 months earlier, the hospital cafeteria smells like industrial disinfectant and defeat at 2 in the morning. Simone Harper counts the bills in her wallet for the third time. 32,001. Enough for tomorrow's subway fare, and maybe a kimbap roll if she skips breakfast. Her nursing assistant shift ended 4 hours ago, but she stayed to cover for Jaewon, whose daughter had a fever. Again, she's so tired her bones ache. Her phone buzzes. A text from her half-brother Marcus. Dad's asking about the money you promised. Says you're making the family look bad. Simone stares at the message until the words blur. 2 years sending money to Atlanta. 2 years funding her father's gambling debts while he tells his new wife's family that his daughter works overseas. Never mentioning that she empties bedpans and changes sheets for $12 an hour. She deletes the message, then blocks the number. Something shifts in her chest. Not breaking, but finally letting go. You're still here. Simone looks up. The man standing beside her table wears a black coat that probably costs more than her monthly rent. Sharp features, dark eyes that miss nothing, presence that makes the fluorescent-lit cafeteria feel suddenly smaller. She's seen him before. 3 times in the past month, always in the cardiac wing. Visiting his grandmother, she assumed, though he never went into any rooms. Just stood in the hallway, watching. My shift ended, she says carefully. Korean hospitals don't always look kindly on nursing assistants socializing with wealthy visitors. I know. It ended at 10:30. You stayed to cover the pediatric floor. He gestures to the empty chair. May I? Every instinct says this is dangerous. Men like him, beautiful, powerful, precise, don't sit with women like her at 2 in the morning unless they want something. But Simone is so tired of being careful. It's a free country. His mouth quirks. Almost a smile. He sits with the controlled grace of someone who's never doubted his right to any space he occupies. My name is Choi Jae-sung. I run an investment firm. Simone Harper. I run myself into the ground for people who don't appreciate it. Now he does smile. Honest. It's late. I'm too tired to lie. He studies her with unsettling focus. I have a proposal. My family is pressuring me to marry. Traditional expectations, strategic alliances, the usual complications of old money and older obligations. Congratulations. I need a wife who won't want anything from me. No social climbing, no romantic delusions, no attempts to leverage the connection. He slides a folder across the table. 6-month contract. You attend family events, maintain the appearance of a relationship, then we part ways. In return, any debt you carry is cleared. Plus 200 million won upon completion. Simone's breath catches. 200 million won. Freedom. The ability to stop eating instant ramen for dinner and working herself into exhaustion. Why me? Because last week you held Mrs. Park's hand while she died. You didn't know her son was canceled his flight from London to be there. You didn't know he was stuck in traffic, desperate to arrive in time. You just sat with her and sang hymns in English so she wouldn't be alone. Simone remembers. The tiny woman in room 408, asking for her son. The way her breathing had changed, becoming labored and shallow. I held her phone so she could see his face when he called. She says quietly. It's not. Anyone would have done that. No. Jae-sung's voice is certain. They wouldn't. I was that son, Miss Harper. Sitting in traffic, watching through a video call as a stranger gave my grandmother more compassion in her final hour than my family had shown her in years. I'm sorry for your loss. Don't be. Be practical. He taps the folder. Read the contract. Think it over. But understand, this is business. Nothing more. He stands, pulls out a business card with a phone number handwritten on the back. Call me when you decide. Simone watches him leave, then opens the folder. The number at the bottom makes her dizzy. She thinks about Marcus's text, her father's endless demands, the way she spent 28 years pouring herself out for people who see her as a resource, not a person. Maybe it's time to be practical. She calls the number before she can reconsider. I have conditions, she says when he answers. Name them. Complete honesty. No lies between us, even if the whole arrangement is a lie to everyone else. Silence. Then, agreed. And when it's over, we part as friends. No bitterness. That won't be a problem. Simone closes her eyes, steps off the cliff. Then yes, I'll marry you. 3 days later, she signs papers in a lawyer's office. 5 days after that, she's standing in a courthouse in a simple white dress, promising 6 months of her life to a man she barely knows. Jae-sung's hand is steady when he slides the ring onto her finger. Warm. Thank you, he says quietly, for agreeing to this. Thank you for the escape route. His dark eyes search hers. From what? Everything. The penthouse overlooks Seoul like a kingdom made of light and glass. Simone stands at the floor-to-ceiling windows, 47 stories above the life she used to know. Behind her, Jae-sung's assistant explains the schedule. Family dinner Friday, charity gala next week, photographed arrivals and departures to maintain the public narrative. You'll have an allowance for appropriate clothing, the assistant says. Stylist appointments are mandatory. Mrs. Choi has very specific expectations. After the assistant leaves, Simone finds Jae-sung in his office. All dark wood and expensive art. Your mother doesn't know I'm black. He doesn't look up from his computer. She knows. And she'll handle it or she won't. Either way, the contract stands. You could have warned me that I'm walking into hostile territory. Now he does look up. You grew up in Atlanta's foster system. Put yourself through nursing school. Came to Korea alone. I've seen your file, Miss Harper. You survived worse than my mother's disapproval. You had me investigated. Thoroughly. No apology in his voice. I don't make investments without research. I'm not an investment. I'm a person. You're both. He closes the laptop. And I'm honest enough to admit that I chose you partly because you understand survival. You won't crumble under pressure. Simone should be angry. But there's something almost respectful in his bluntness. The contract says separate bedrooms. Correct. And no one can know this is fake. Also correct. Then you'd better be a good actor, Mr. Choi. Because I don't do things halfway. Something flickers in his expression. Neither do I. The weeks that follow establish a strange routine. Jae-sung leaves before dawn, returns after midnight. But there are small considerations. Her favorite tea appears in the kitchen, magazines in English, a gym membership card left on the counter. She never sees him arrange these things. Then Friday arrives. Wear the black dress, Jae-sung says in the car. Conservative jewelry. Speak only when addressed. I'm not a prop. You're my wife. That makes you more valuable than you realize. His jaw tightens. My mother is traditional. She'll test you. Don't react. I've handled worse than judgmental mothers-in-law. Have you handled one who considers you a stain on 5 centuries of family lineage? Simone's stomach drops, but she lifts her chin. Guess we'll find out. The restaurant is exclusive, private, the kind of place where power is served on platinum plates. Jae-sung's family waits. His mother, elegant and ice-cold. His father, mostly silent. His younger sister Jia, curious and calculating. Mrs. Choi's English is perfect, her smile knife-sharp. So you're the American nurse. Nursing assistant, Simone corrects. I'm working toward my RN certification. How ambitious. The pause before ambitious carries volumes. And you met my son at the hospital? Yes. How convenient. Mrs. Choi sips her wine. That he happened to find you during such a vulnerable time. Jae-sung's hand finds Simone's knee under the table. A warning or support, she can't tell. Our meeting was fortunate, Simone says evenly. For both of us. Was it? Mrs. Choi's smile sharpens. Tell me. Dear, what does your family think of this sudden marriage? The question lands like a slap. Simone's family. Her father who asks only for money. The half-siblings who barely acknowledge her. The foster families who moved her along when she became inconvenient. My family isn't relevant to my marriage. Isn't it? Family is everything. Lineage, reputation, legacy. Mrs. Choi sets down her glass with precision. My son will inherit one of Korea's largest investment firms. He'll need a wife who understands that responsibility, who can navigate society, represent the family name. Her eyes rake over Simone, who won't be a constant curiosity. Mother. Jae-sung's voice is quiet steel. I'm simply being practical, darling. You yourself always say business requires honesty. She turns back to Simone. You seem like a perfectly nice girl. But nice isn't enough for this life. You're unworthy of. The crystal wine glass stops halfway to Mrs. Choi's lips when her son's voice cuts through the private dining room like a blade. If she's unworthy, mother, then I suppose you'll need to find a new heir. The silence is absolute. Even the servers freeze. Jia's eyes go wide. Mr. Choi sets down his chopsticks with extreme care. Mrs. Choi recovers first, her smile brittle. Don't be dramatic, Jae-sung. I'm being clear. He stands, pulling Simone up with him. My wife isn't a topic for debate. She's not on trial. And she will never again sit through a dinner where she's treated as less than she is. You married her in secret after knowing her barely a week, Mrs. Choi hisses. You expect us to simply accept. I expect you to show basic respect. That's not negotiable. His hand tightens on Simone's. And if the cost of keeping the company means tolerating your cruelty toward her, then you can give the position to Jia. She'll probably run it better anyway. Jia makes a small, shocked sound. Mr. Choi speaks for the first time. Son, think carefully. I have. Jae-sung's voice is absolutely certain. For 34 years, I've done everything right. Perfect grades, perfect career, perfect obedience. I watched grandmother die alone because I was in a meeting you insisted I attend. I've dated women you approved of who saw me as a bank account. I'm done. He looks at Simone. She sat with a dying stranger and sang hymns. She works herself to exhaustion helping people who can't pay her back. She's honest and kind in a world that punishes both. If that's unworthy, then your definition is broken. Mrs. Choi's face has gone pale. You'd throw away your legacy for my wife. Yes. He pulls out his phone, thumbs a message. I've just sent my resignation to the board. Effective immediately. Jae-sung, Simone starts. Trust me. His eyes meet hers, and for the first time she sees something raw and real beneath the controlled exterior. Please. She nods. They're halfway to the door when Jia speaks. Wait. Everyone turns. Jia stands, her voice shaking but determined. Mother. Father. Appa has worked for this family since he was 16. He's tripled the firm's value. He's never asked for anything. She looks at Simone. And in 2 minutes, I've watched his wife endure more grace under fire than any of your approved candidates could manage. Maybe we're the ones who need to adjust. Mrs. Choi's lips thin. You're both being foolish. No. Mr. Choi's voice is thoughtful. They're being honest. Something we've discouraged for too long. He inclines his head toward Simone. I apologize for my wife's rudeness. You're right to leave. Jae-sung's phone buzzes. He glances at it, then shows Simone. Messages from board members, flooding in. Don't be hasty. We can discuss this. The company needs you. See? Mrs. Choi's voice turns calculating. You have leverage. Use it to what? Bargain with my wife's dignity. Jae-sung pockets the phone. No. He guides Simone out. In the car, silence stretches. Then Simone starts laughing, slightly hysterical, exhausted. You just quit your job. For a fake marriage. Jae-sung's hands tighten on the steering wheel. It stopped being fake the moment I realized I'd rather lose everything than watch someone disrespect you. Her laughter dies. What? I told myself this was practical. A business solution. He pulls over, turns to face her. But I've spent 2 months memorizing how you take your coffee. Learning which songs you hum while cooking. Watching you sleep on the couch because you still can't believe the bedroom is really yours. His voice drops. I've been lying to myself, Simone. This hasn't been business since the day you said yes. Jae-sung, I'm in love with you. The confession sounds torn from somewhere deep. And if the price of being with you is losing my family, my company, my legacy, then it's not even a choice. Simone's heart hammers. The contract, I'm voiding it. Right now. He cups her face with shaking hands. Stay anyway. Not because I'm paying you. Because you want this. Because maybe, possibly, you feel even a fraction of what she kisses him. He tastes like desperation and hope, his arms coming around her like he's afraid she'll disappear. When they finally break apart, she's crying. You just walked away from everything. No, I walked toward the only thing that matters. I'm not worth. You're worth everything. He kisses her forehead. He taught me that being worthy isn't about bloodlines or bank accounts. It's about showing up, being kind, choosing love even when it costs you. He smiles, devastating and real. You've been doing that your whole life. Tom, I learned how. They go home, not to separate bedrooms, but together, holding each other through the night. Morning brings news. The board has refused Jae-sung's resignation. His father called an emergency meeting, publicly supported Simone, and suggested his wife take a wellness sabbatical. Jia is being promoted to VP. The family is restructuring. Mrs. Choi sends a message. We should talk. Privately. The conversation, when it happens, is stilted but sincere. Mrs. Choi doesn't apologize. Not exactly. But she admits that fear of losing her son made her cruel. Help me understand, she says finally. Why her? Because she sees me. Jae-sung says simply. Not the heir. Not the money. Just me. Mrs. Choi looks at Simone. Really looks, maybe for the first time. Can you handle this life? The scrutiny, the expectations? I handled foster care, poverty, and putting myself through school, Simone says quietly. I can handle anything. Question is, can you handle me being part of this family? A long pause. Then, impossibly, Mrs. Choi almost smiles. I suppose we'll learn together. It's not perfect. Mrs. Choi remains distant, critical, occasionally cutting. But she shows up to dinners. Stops the overt cruelty. Even, once, compliments Simone's Korean pronunciation. A year later, Simone finishes her nursing degree. Jae-sung throws her a party, small, intimate, full of people who actually matter. I'm proud of you, he says, pulling her close. For passing exams. For never dimming your light. Even when the world told you to. She kisses him. Best fake marriage ever. Not fake. Never was, really. And it's true. What started as a contract became a partnership, became love, became home. Simone finally learned she was worthy all along. She just needed someone brave enough to defend it publicly. Jae-sung learned that real power isn't what you inherit. It's what you choose, what you protect, who you become. Their story becomes the family legend, the nursing assistant and the heir who walked away from everything, then got it all back on their own terms. Together.